So, last time.
Penis.
So last time, the party had breached the lower levels of this mysterious castle that emerged from the mountain north of Drake's Landing. And after a prolonged fight in the hallways, after setting off some alarms, they were able to corner one of the remaining cultists who had surrendered at the end of the fight, and more or less pump him for information. He was still relatively tight-lipped about things, but he directed you guys to go upstairs to, well, some place that you couldn't miss. So as the party went up and found a massive entry hall throne room sort of area and approached the throne, they saw a gleaming black skull perched right on the seat of this throne. As Trogdor in particular made his approach, he decided that, well, what was the phrase again? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I think that's what ended up with you guys going to another reality for a minute.
Yep.
And so he decided to take his mace over his head and bring it down on the skull before anything bad could happen, you know. As the mace was about to make contact, it was stopped just shy of touching the skull, and a piercing scream emanated from it, echoing all throughout this massive hall that, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to allow any exterior sound into it. As the scream kind of dies down, perhaps unnaturally slowly, the party is left in silence once again.
Down! Off!
That was Maya talking to the skull.
Bad skull.
No humping the seat.
What?
What?
What am I supposed to hump then?
Okay.
Bungdo is now going to play this entire episode in Spanish in honor of Cinco de Mayo.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Mi amigos. Vamos, cantador.
I blame you for me not knowing that it's Cinco de Mayo. Because usually you tell me.
It's my job to tell you that it's Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Because usually you make me drink.
Oh, I guess that is true. But I can't deny that.
Oh, how quickly we go off the rails. Anyway, after the scream dies down and you're left in silence for a moment, you hear what sounds like suddenly just sheets of rain coming down. The sound seems to be coming from the large front doors that are currently closed, back near the front end of the hall where you had entered. And as you all turn to, well, maybe see what the hell that noise is, you can see that there's something falling from the ceiling. It looks like a number of tiny shapes, probably, no bigger than, say, the length of a finger or something.
It's a bunch of freaking worms.
Oh boy. Or
And-
spiders. I hate spiders.
And as you watch, you see this downpour of something seem to come sweeping down the length of the room towards you. As it grows a little bit closer, I think with her positioning, Maya would be the first one to notice that this is indeed a downpour of green worms that seem to be coming down from some sort of opening that's just appearing in the ceiling and reclosing behind the front wave of worms just as quickly as it opens.
I yell worms.
Okay.
I hold my shield
And
over
I
my
point
head.
at them. Worms!
I assume I'm still close to Trogdor, so I try and run under his shield.
Okay.
Well, under
Holding it.
him / his shield.
I'm
Okay.
holding it over my head like an umbrella.
Who's all in the range of the rain of worms?
I think the only one who wouldn't eventually be hit by it as it's making its way down the length of this room would be Togar, who specifically said he was way off to one side. So the rain of worms pushes its way down the length of the room. Is there anything else anyone would like to do, I guess, in preparation for what's happening here? You might have like time for an action, let's say.
I want to ready lesser restoration in case someone gets bitten by one.
Okay.
How far away am I from the safety of not worms?
Probably not more than about 30 feet.
I'm gonna go there.
Okay. So yeah, I think you just dart off to one side and sneaking between a couple of pillars, you almost immediately run into Togar, who had his back kind of pressed to one.
I'm going to summon Mage Hand
Okay.
and just have
That's all
it
you do.
floating.
Okay. Yeah, I think Norganoth is going to do the same thing that Trogdor did, raising his... or no, he doesn't have a shield. He has a great sword.
Yeah.
So
He's going to raise
he...
his greatsword.
It's wide enough, right?
It's not a broadsword, it's a greatsword.
He's just going to helicopter it so fast that none of the worms can get through. No.
Oh, that would be a fucking mess.
No, I think he's going to dart off to one side as well, taking cover behind a pillar.
I'm slow, I'm not getting out of the way.
I
Go ahead.
could get out of the way, right? I'm close to bird.
Yeah, just barely, because
Okay.
yeah, you're kind of in the middle-ish of the room, like side to side, but you can just barely make it behind some cover. Are you gonna go like the same side that Maya, Togar, and Norganoth went to?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then Trogdor and Bungdo attempt to kind of weather the storm here. Let's see. Take a look at some fun stuff here. So, I would like Trogdor and Bungdo to each make 3 deck saves.
All +3.
There you go.
3 deck saves?
Yes.
All the way. 10, 14, and
Ooh.
Oh boy. Okay.
one pass on 2.
So, Trogdor, one of these worms manages to sneak its way in between the kind of massive plates of your armor, and you feel this little gnawing sensation beneath the plate as one of them finds its mark. Bungdo, you think you're safe under that shield, but turns out worms in this quantity kind of behave like a liquid, and they begin to flow in around your feet. And one of them latches on to each foot. So,
Right. Wormfoot.
yeah. Wormfoot. Worm feet. Um, as that happens, I think you hear a raspy voice from, what would be behind Bungdo and Trogdor now, back at the throne. The black skull glows now with this kind of bluish color emanating from the eyes, and says, "Welcome to my castle."
Thank you.
I am sure it will become a suitable home for you as it has for me.
I'm not ready to settle down. Not really ready for that kind of commitment.
Stogar like chiming in with us from behind a pillar.
Yeah.
Okay. He says, "It matters not. All men will crawl eventually. You are blessed enough to have your opportunity come sooner rather than later."
Well, I know of a couple people that might, but I still have stuff I have to do.
Just sort of a pause before this maniacal laughter begins to emanate from the skull. And upon kind of recomposing itself, the voice says, "I need only but one of you to regain my full power. I trust my most competent worm caller Nos to be more than capable of obtaining at least one of you." At this point, you hear this kind of low hum from a couple of places along the ground that are kind of covered by worms. And in two spots toward the center of this chamber, these rings appear. Again, kind of wreathed in this blue flame, and the worms in the area almost seem to just disintegrate as the flames appear. But then inside of them appear these look to be rifts that lead to some other location. You certainly don't recognize what you're staring into as the basement you just arrived from. And from the flame-wreathed holes in the floor, you see another wave of worms begin to flow up. And from the farthest one closest to the entry doors, you see a heavily armored, hunched figure haul itself up and out, standing up on the floor and staring at you with this skeletal grin, a few wisps of thin black hair kind of covering parts of its face. And with that, you don't hear anything else from the skull, but I think it is time to roll some initiative.
Can't see Bungdo.
Yeah, I'm going to move you guys to the map in a second here.
Excuse me.
You're not excused.
No,
I excuse you.
Well,
that's two not excuses and one excuse.
yeah.
Hey, roll the same thing.
Okay. Okay. Looks like still
I found
missing.
me. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get to the very edge. Button.
Uh,
Found it.
Nope.
Gosh, everyone
Good
rolled really high.
All right.
Not everyone. But
So, I think the hunched figure that has emerged from the far opening here is going to.
can I have a description of what we're seeing here? Like, what are the blue flamey things with the thingies around them?
Okay. Yeah.
And this is the
So
hunched person, and where's the throne?
the throne is up by Trogdor and Bungdo. Right there.
Okay. Yeah, there's a pillar in the way, so I can't really see them.
Ah. Okay. The blue flame things are like these rifts or portals that the worms and the hunched figure crawled out from just before the beginning of this fight.
Okay, so there's two.
There are two holes, yeah, and
For some reason, I thought there was only one.
no, there are two of them. And so this hunched figure kind of hauls itself up and surveying the room. Actually, let me see who it's got little line of sight on.
Me and Maya.
All right. Hmm.
Oh,
It can see just about everybody from this position.
Oh.
So I think what it's going to do is looking around. It first seems to disappear for a second and then reappears.
oh jeez.
Oh, it just went in and came back out the other one.
No, it seemed to blink out of existence for a second. It didn't jump back into the hole or anything like that. It just wasn't there, and then it was somewhere else.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
And looking around at its surroundings now, I think it's going to turn and point at Lilith and say, "Come and meet my master."
She crashed, by the way.
Damn it. Okay.
She posted a picture of her computer crashing.
Oh, that. Cool. Fantastic.
She'll be back in a couple minutes.
Is she there with you guys?
Yeah.
Could just have her roll, whatever she needs to. Like, she's just come listen.
Okay. Well, I guess it's not going to target Lilith because, we want to keep this moving.
Okay.
So then that being the case, let's see.
It went to
Okay.
target you. It went to target you.
Says saved by the bell, saved by the blue screen.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see, huh? Okay, so instead it's going to turn toward Togar and say that. Come with me to see my master. And I need Togar to make a wisdom save. All right. And so, Togar, you feel yourself strangely compelled to accompany this thing wherever it wants to go.
Alright.
Yeah, and it's just sort of standing there with its hand outstretched invitingly toward Togar. Which brings us to Togar.
Well, I guess since it hasn't really been aggressive to me, I'm just gonna walk over. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's this thing between me and it?
It is a cluster of worms.
Yep, I'm gonna go 5, and that'll be where I can go.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna kind of stand there and just kind of start reaching for its hand, I guess.
All right. That brings us to Lilith, which is kind of unfortunate.
We could just retcon her initiative for this turn, then put her
Yeah.
back next turn.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. Cool. So Maya, then, what are you doing?
Um. One, two, three, 4, 5. So it's 25, 35, 40 feet
Okay.
of movement. And I'm gonna attack this thing.
All right.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. Don't kill me.
No.
Yeah. Um, I want to do some things. Okay, I want to try and hit it with my quarterstaff. That's a no.
Yeah. So you swing the quarterstaff, and there's this loud ping as it glances off the heavy sheets of armor that this thing is like visibly hunched under the weight of.
I'm gonna try it again.
Okay. That hits.
Okay. I
Okay.
want to do this.
All right. Con save. And what's the DC on that? Never mind, that's a nat 20.
What the hell?
But it did seem to take some damage.
Well, I still have my bonus action. So I'm gonna attack it.
Okay. All right, that also hits. So you pretty quickly learn that you want to steer clear of that heavy armor because it is going to be quite a pain in the ass to pierce through or, hit around in your case. So I'm kind of picturing it as you just begin to whack at this thing's face.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Trogdor, what are you doing?
Did the worms that got me and Bungdo disappear with the other ones? Or are they still on us?
No, there are still worms all over the place, but I have them represented here as individual swarms, and the ones that are in you guys are still very much in you.
Okay. Would it be possible to do less restoration on him than just basically attempt to pull the one out on me?
It would be an action to pull yours out, so you probably have to choose.
Wait a second, isn't it considered a disease? Poison? One of the two.
Among other things, it's not It will still affect you. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I remember you can remove it Lesser Restoration. I could have sworn I could remove it with Lay on Hands as well.
Yeah, I think you have done that.
Okay. I will use Lay on Hands 5 points on Bungdo.
Okay. Yeah, so Bungdo, the gnawing sensation as these things are trying to dig into your feet
Hey,
subsides, and the worms disappear. And yeah, we did hear you for a second there, Laura.
Both feet?
Both feet.
Yay!
And,
It's like I've taken 2 steps forward and no steps back.
and then I guess I'll use my movement to get up here on this thing.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So, gotcha. All right, Laura, you with us?
I think so.
Cool. So we skipped you for the time being while you were getting stuff sorted out, but go ahead and take your turn now.
Okay. Wow, what's that next to me? Oh, that's a dragon.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. I was like, how'd I get close to an enemy? All right, we're good though. What are these tokens around here?
All right, so there's the one that's that creepy hunched figure. All the other ones are swarms of these green worms that you've seen around.
Wormies!
Oh, yuck. Okay. I'm gonna do an Eldritch Blast on the worm right in front of Shadowgar.
Okay.
I can't see a name. It's the one on the right.
Yeah.
That's me.
It's Stilgar.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. Okay. So yeah, you just chuck a couple of Eldritch Blasts at the swarm, and yeah, you see a number of them kind of just get squished, or some of them like blown back into the portal that's sitting there open on the ground. The swarm is considerably smaller than it was before.
Good. Okay. That's it.
Okay. Bungdo, what are you doing?
I think I'm going to. We haven't taken any rest from the last battle, right? So like,
Correct.
there's still spell slots and shit.
Yeah, anything that was missing before is still missing now.
Okay. I think I'm gonna use. Anyone missing health?
I'm missing a few points.
I'm missing my
Like-
mind.
A lot, or
No.
like a flesh wound?
Like as compared to a paper cut, it's a paper cut made with cardboard.
So a cardboard cut. All right. I'm gonna use produce flame. Those are the worms, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna use produce flame on the one closest to me. Not the hawk-looking dude, but the one like next to it.
This one?
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, yeah, so that's the swarm that Lilith had already blasted, and as Bungdo chucks one of his little fireballs at it, the rest of them just whoosh, go up in flames. Okay.
Nice.
Anything else?
Fire! Nah.
Okay. So then I think right. Norganoth didn't roll. Let's get him in here.
I was wondering.
Yeah, no, it rolled on, like, it rolled me a message about it, but then it didn't add to the tracker.
Huh.
Okay. Well, this works.
Did he roll shit?
Yeah.
Oh no, he rolled good.
Yeah, no, so he's gonna go now.
Twice?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he comes running up. just yelling at the top of his lungs. Great sword slung over the shoulder, and he is going to try and take this thing down.
Does he get 2 sets of attacks since he rolled a 20?
I'm
Get both turns worth?
A boom bang pow, kill it now.
alright with that.
Sweet.
Alright, so that's 2 hits and 2 misses. Basically, his first turn, he would have hit twice. And then this turn, he just kind of clangs off of the heavy armor that the thing is wearing. But it has taken a good bit of damage. Wouldn't say it's on death's door, but it's visibly hurt. Okay. Then we get to this creature. And as Togar is reaching out to grab its hand, it clasps the hand and begins to pull Togar with it toward the portal here. Sounds like you got an idea.
I'm trying to see if that would proc my sentinel.
Provoke a reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
it's-
want to know if I can reach out and grab him. Reaction.
Uh,
I mean, go ahead.
says it doesn't make an attack. I guess
Yeah,
it's not-
technically this isn't an attack. This is a complicit grabbing of hands.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, if you want, you could try and make an attack against Togar to knock him to his, like, knock the sense into him or something. Well, actually, the creature in its pulling is going to probably back out of engagement with Maya and Trogdor. So, if you guys would like to make opportunity attacks, you could do that. Because it's going to be
Yeah.
backing. Yeah, okay.
Let go of my friend.
Okay, so that hits. This loud, like, clanging sound as you dent in some of this old, tarnished armor. That also hits. Okay.
It
Okay.
also can't move.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So that being the case, it's going to change its tactic up a little bit here. It turns and faces that swarm of worms and mutters something in some foul language that I don't think any of you speak. Does anyone speak Abyssal?
No,
Tomorrow I
I
do.
don't think so. I think I have Celestial and Primordial.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I speak
So
Infernal, it's the same thing.
sure. Okay. So then this swarm of worms, almost in unison, begins to crawl toward this creature. And as it reaches the creature and kind of coalesces around its feet, while maintaining its grasp on Togar, it takes its other hand and scoops up a handful of worms and shoves them in its mouth, eating them. And you see the wounds on the thing's flesh begin to heal up.
Ew.
Yum.
But we will say then that the swarm is disposed of. Okay. Right. So Togar, what are you doing?
Well, it's telling me to come see its master. In
Yeah.
seeing it go pick up a pile of worms and eat it, I'm gonna start making my way, if I can pull out of its grasp, over towards this pile of worms.
It specifically said, "Come with me," though.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll look at it impatiently and say, well, where are we going? Let's go. Come on. I don't have all day. I got stuff to do.
I like this picture of Togar as like the annoying
Yep.
NPC escort mission.
Yep.
Come on, shit to do. All right.
And then I get stuck on a rock.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So Lilith, what are you
Does
doing?
he not make saving throws on the end of his turn, or is he just...
Let me double check, but I don't think so.
If it's what I think it is, then no. I think it's suggestion, in which case
Did
it's
something happen to him while I was gone?
Yeah. So it was actually going to try doing this to you, but since you weren't there and stuff, the creature pointed toward Togar and told him to come with him and see its master.
And I said, okay.
I wish he had done it to me, because I'd probably have advantage on it.
Shouldn't
Technically-
have trusted your computer with your life.
Technically,
Oh.
it's not a charm effect, though, so you wouldn't have had advantage on
Fine.
it.
Alright, I'll just hit that creepy dude.
Okay. All right. So that first Eldritch Blast, you hear this loud ringing sound as it impacts the armor pretty squarely, but doesn't seem to do enough to get through. The second one, though, that hits and kind of knocks it just a little off balance, staggers for a second.
A 19 did hit him?
It did not.
Oh,
Okay.
What's the advantage from, anyways?
Oh, I know. I didn't mean to do that. I don't know I have that on there. Well, I guess I have to re-roll them.
Well, I'll take the first ones. So,
Yeah.
I mean, a 14 still doesn't hit, just like the 19 didn't. But the 20 is the first roll on the second one, so we'll say that hits. Yeah. Same result. Cool. Anything else?
Okay.
Maya.
Is Togar in his hands or no? Like,
Yeah.
are
So
they holding hands?
they are holding hands. Yes.
Okay. I am going to try and rip Togar's hand out of his hand.
Okay. I guess we'll treat this kind of like a grapple check. So go ahead and make an athletics check versus Togar's athletics or acrobatics check.
I'd be able to assist.
Not really, no. It's a combat action. Alright, so yeah, you try and pull away, but Togar's a surprisingly flexible little man and squeezes out.
I'm also a lot stronger than I look.
There's that.
Can I just yell in Togar's ear? I just want to yell Togar. in
Slippery
Togar's
little
ear.
sumbitch.
All right. So yeah, Maya just yells, "Togar!"
In Tiz's ear, specifically. Very loudly.
It kind of hurts, maybe a little bit.
Just a bit.
And that's it.
I mean,
Trogdor.
I'm assuming that was my action, so.
Yeah.
How deep is this worm in me?
Ooh. All the way.
I mean, it's in there. It's under the skin.
Does it feel like I could last at least another turn?
Probably, yeah.
Can he last longer?
Alright, I'm gonna try and hit this thing a couple times.
Okay.
And I'm going to smite if I hit.
All right. So that first one, again, it puts up its bracered arm and just kind of blocks the blow from the mace.
Mm.
Oh, that's gonna hit though.
Aw, you.
Okay. So it's not terrible. All right. Yeah, and you see this little kind of burst of white light as the divine smite goes off and sort of singes the armor and probably the flesh underneath. And just sort of like turns for a moment and bares its nasty yellow teeth at you.
I grimace at
Anything
his
else?
nasty.
Okay.
I can't do anything else.
Okay. Bungdo.
Ooh, it's time to do stuff. All right. It's gonna be on the. So you know where the worms were?
Yeah.
I'm doing it to that one, and I'm just gonna produce. Well, is anyone infected with the worm?
I am, but I'll be fine.
Produce flame.
Wait.
Or like produce flame.
Sorry, which worms are you talking about?
It's on the enemy where the worms were, or is that Norganoth or whatever?
That's Norganoth.
Oh, okay. What's the one next to him?
The hunchbacked thing that's trying to haul Togar into a portal.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I got confused for a second. That's the one I'm attacking.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so yeah, you throw your fireball and it kind of just detonates harmlessly against the side of the armor.
What a dick. You should have easier armor to hit.
All right. Yeah, is that it?
There's not much else to do.
Okay.
Is there any way I
Norganoth.
can help him, like, keep from being portaled? Or
I
would that
mean,
be
you
an
could.
action?
It would probably be an action, kind of along the lines of what Maya did, trying to like grapple Togar away from the quote unquote grapple of the other thing. But yeah.
Right.
Okay.
There's nothing else then.
All right. I think Norganoth is going to keep attacking the root of the problem here. So keep swinging away with that great sword. Two loud clangs as the thing just can't break through whatever crazy armor this thing is wearing. Let's see. I think then at the end of his turn, he turns to Trogdor and says, "We cannot let them escape. Attack, 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 attack. Keep fighting." And he's going to use Command Ally, which means, Trogdor, you get to make a weapon attack as a reaction if you'd like.
Reaction.
Or you can hold your reaction for your sentinel. It's your choice. But this one would have advantage. So it's the no movement thing or free advantage on the attack. You choose.
I thought it was as long as he takes an attack action as a reaction, they can't move.
What
With
was
Sentinel. With Sentinel, isn't it as long as you take an attack as a reaction, they can't move? Or is it just use because of Sentinel?
Yeah, let's take a look at that actually.
Pretty sure it's opportunity attack.
Yeah, it's opportunity attack. It specifically says. Okay.
Oh.
So, you know what? I think I'm going to retcon that because I think this is something that Norganoth would know. So instead of using that on Trogdor, I think he uses it on someone more likely to take advantage of it, which would be Maya in this case. So Maya, you can make an attack against the creature if you so choose.
Ooh, right now?
Right now with advantage.
Yeah.
Ooh, spicy.
Double one.
Loud clang as you try and punch it, and you just can't find the right spot. It's able to surprisingly nimbly, much like Togar really, kind of maneuver its way, so you're always running into that plate. Okay. Then that is going to bring us back to the creature. And it's going to try again to haul Togar into the hole. So at this point, I think that's when Trogdor wants to take his sentinel, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Indeed.
All right, and so you hit it, and I'm picturing it as like, you kind of take out the leg. Okay. Yeah, and it shrieks in pain at that. I mean, between the kind of low strike, catching it where it wasn't expecting to be hit, the knee buckles, and then there's this pulse of light from the smite, and that's a good, healthy bit of damage. You see smoke now kind of rising up off of its flesh where you hit it. Yeah, so it's kind of like on one knee, still holding Togar's hand. Let me...
Almost like his token.
Okay, and actually, after that attack, Togar, you feel the need to follow the thing kind of subside.
Good to know.
Okay, so then, let's see. It's going to kind of make this sweeping gesture, almost reaching out toward all of the swarms of worms around, and they all kind of begin to inch in that direction. Slowly, but they're coming.
How far away? Perfect.
Yeah, like all of the worms begin to move toward that portal. Okay. Now, Togar, now that you've come to your senses, what are you doing?
I've still got his arm in my grasp, don't I?
You do.
I'm just gonna think for a second, will my dagger into my other hand, and just stab him right in the arm.
Okay.
Just while he's distracted.
Mm-hmm. Thick ass armor though, and it just kind of glances right off.
Damn it. I'm gonna stab one more time.
Okay.
Still nothing. Alright. Well, I'm definitely letting go of his hand.
Good to know.
And I'm
All
just
right.
gonna, I guess, fall into a bit of a defensive stance.
Gotcha. Lilith.
Alright, I'm gonna cast Ice Storm.
Okay.
And it's going to be right here, so that it'll hit the creepy guy and this, the worms down there.
Okay, just so you're aware, that would hit your friends too.
Right? With a 20-foot radius?
Well, hold on. Where did you ping?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. I was thinking it was much smaller. Okay, so right there.
Okay.
It'll hit more of them. Okay, wherever, however far away it needs to be.
Whatever you got to do so you're not hitting your friends.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Your friends appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I'm sure they do.
What is
let's-
happening?
Hit all of them.
Well, it starts. Why is this measuring tool weird? Isn't it supposed to originate in the corner and not in the center of the square?
If you put it here, it would reach everything.
Cool, that's where it's going then.
Okay.
Wait, so you're okay hitting Norganoth then?
I mean, he's really strong, right? Alright, whatever. Just put it so it won't hit him.
Okay. I
Okay.
didn't realize that was Norganoth. I thought that was an enemy.
All
I
right.
love this new lighting setting.
What was that, Brown?
Okay.
I love this new lighting setting.
What lighting setting?
Just the kind of spooky outline of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually stuff that I just stuck on the map. But all right, so yeah, the sky, or in this case, the ceiling, opens up, much like it had when the worms fell down. But this time, instead of worms, it is large hailstones, and yeah, I don't think I even need to make any saves for the worms that are caught here. I think they're just like pulverized. And then
Why was the damage rerolled?
No, I rolled twice for the 2d8 and the 46.
okay, dex save.
It is 15.
All right, that's a 22 on the dex save.
Oh, it is. What?
So...
That's too high.
okay, still takes some damage though.
Wow, the worms are gone.
That was my last spell slot.
All right. Anything else from Lilith?
No.
Okay.
I don't
Maya?
like that he saved.
So it is me.
It is you.
Togar is not suggested anymore. So I will just, I guess, attack the thing in front of me.
Okay.
And I will whack it. And I'll
And
whack
you
it
will
again.
hit it, and you will not hit it,
But I'll try to punch it in the face.
and you will also not hit it.
Well,
The thing is
I hit
strong.
it once. That's it.
Okay.
How is it looking now?
It is definitely showing some wear. After it ate those worms before, it looked like it restored itself nearly all the way back to full health. but you've whittled it down since, and it's starting to look pretty rough.
Okay.
So is that it from Maya?
Yep.
Okay. Trogdor.
Alright, I want to use my action to cast lay on hands on myself to cure myself with those worms.
Okay, and that gnawing, itching sensation under your armor just fades away.
Alright, let's see. I guess I'm gonna do Shield of Faith as my bonus action on the Norganoth again.
Okay. Cool. Is that it?
Yep.
All right. Bungdo, what are you doing?
Being muted.
Oh, whoops. Healing word on Maya. And then I'm turning into a...
Okay.
Wow, it's trash. And then I'm turning into a bear.
Okay.
Those
That's-
are both bonus actions.
I mean, I can take one as an action, can't I?
You have to
Oh,
cure wounds.
I
yeah,
can't take...
no, you
No.
cannot do that.
Really?
Just
Okay,
walk
well,
up to Maya,
Really?
cure wounds her, and then turn into a bear.
I mean, you
Yeah.
have to be close anyway. And cure
I'll move
wounds
up
is better,
here.
so.
I'll just cast it level 2 as well. And then turn into a bear.
Okay.
I did not need 13 hit points.
But you got him.
You poor baby.
I know.
You didn't
Well,
even get
now you
13,
need
you
none.
got 10.
No, 13.
Plus
Higher level
No,
cast gave it a
at
3.
13. Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
even need 10.
Oh. Shh, I didn't know. Don't judge me.
You're forgiven.
Judge.
Oh my god, bear.
Indeed.
Bungo
All
the
right.
bear.
Yeah, and so Bungdo gives a quick tap on the back to Maya, and yeah, then you just hear the kind of heavy gnomish breathing quickly turn into the grunts and roars of a polar bear. So, I guess that's it for Bungdo, yeah?
Yeah. Gonna have to
Okay. It's going to bring us to Norganoth, who is going to swing again with his great sword. This time landing 2 hits. And yeah, let's see how we're doing here. Okay, so yeah, this thing is it's a miracle it's still standing. And I think Norganoth turns to Maya and says, "Finish it!"
Aww.
Does that let me do
That's-
something?
It does.
Attack
It's the
with
same thing as last
advantage.
time. You get you can make an attack as a reaction with advantage.
I will do that.
Okay, and yeah. So, I mean, I think this is a big enough deal. Maya, how do you want to do this?
I want to kind of like do one of those chop, things that people do with bricks, but just hit him on the top of his head and just kind of cleave it down through his neck. And then I want to shake all the stuff off my hand because it's disgusting.
Okay. Yeah. So very much in the Geiger watermelon sense. The exposed head of this thing just cracks, and you feel slimy interior of the thing's head kind of all over your hand as it buckles and begins to fall backward down into the portal, sort of reaching out even in the last moment toward Togar. And I think as that happens, another ripple of blue flame kind of sweeps across the room, and any of the worms that had still been around just sort of disappear.
Cool.
Portals are both still sitting there open. And the room that you're standing in, once again, has this unsettling quiet to it. But I suppose it's better than the sound of battle where someone could get dragged off to who knows where. So, anything you guys are doing after this showdown?
Can I pick up the skull and throw it into the portal? Be like, be gone with you!
Sure.
I mean, can we like, can we see into the portals?
Make a perception check. It's very cloudy, and difficult to see what's on the other side, but it's possible. You can't make out very much. You could swear, though, that you're seeing little bits of stonework, not so different from that which is kind of surrounding you in this castle. But also, it looks as though you can see an open sky, but everything is kind of tinted with this strange kind of monochrome. Like you look at it and the sky looks almost like dark gray, maybe even black.
And the other one? Or are they both like that?
They both seem to open to similar places. Probably not exactly the same, but probably close. You see stonework and swirling clouds. Yeah, I think that's about all you've got to go
Okay.
on.
I will pass that news along.
You also see a little stream as Togar is pissing in it.
Okay. Probably as Togar is doing that, you hear the maniacal laughter return from the throne at the far end of the room. And the voice just says, "So you won't be taken so easily."
I thought I picked it up and threw it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the like the skull that Maya. I got you.
No, I wanted to get rid of the Caius' skull.
Okay.
Throw the talking skull.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think you still hear the voice. It's just disembodied now. But yeah, it sort of laughs to itself and says, "So you won't be taken so easily. That only means you will serve as stronger fuel for my forthcoming reign."
Rain of what? Clouds?
Surely you know who I am.
I know enough about who you are.
Then need you even ask? I am to bring about an age of worms. Remake this world in Orcus's image.
And what is that? What image is that?
You hear this loud, uh, almost like gust of wind, uh, as the clouds around the field of vision on the other side of the portal clear away, and you see now staring through um, broken battlements of a castle, a dark, cloudy sky, dead plant life and trees everywhere, and just striding by, far off in the distance, still visible, is the shape of something that you've actually seen before. Thinking back to, well, the last major dealing you had with jumping in portals and that sort of thing. You saw some of these creatures on the battlefield in Taldore. These are the ones that stand probably a good 12 to 15 feet tall and have large exposed rib cages into
Oh,
which
no.
they would, yeah, into which they would seemingly transport people who were on death's door.
I know we were a few levels lower back then, but back then one of those like could two-shot me.
Then don't get hit.
So now it'll just 3-shot you. You have a whole nother turn to try and kill it.
If you keep staring, I think you see other foul undead creatures just sort of shambling by. The familiar worm-infested creatures that you fought all throughout your journey up here. Other types of zombies and skeletons, and you see these other creatures that look like they're entirely just dead, bloated, distended human bodies that have been brought back to life. It's just this horrible picture of all things corrupt and unnatural, I suppose, from the perspective of, say, Trogdor and Lilith.
Is Malgar down there?
You don't know. And I think after a few kind of brief moments of staring through, the voice chimes in again and says, "You are welcome to come and find me, if you think you can stop it."
Where are you?
You've seen the place.
Is it this place in your vision, or
Well, that is where the skeleton creature, zombie creature, was trying to drag Togar.
okay?
So you're the boss. Or master. Or whatever the hell that idiot said.
Chuckles to itself, says, "Yes, I suppose Nos did prove to be less competent than I had hoped. No matter. I have other worm callers and many other allies at my disposal."
Did you say this one was the most confident one you had, though? And if that's the best you got, then it ain't looking too good for you.
Try intimidating him to give up his quest.
Can I roll?
I don't think that's a thing that's gonna happen.
Oh,
He's not even giving it a chance. And the entire arc in that just one charisma roll.
Yeah, no, Kaius just says, okay, and disappears. But I think his response to Trogdor is, it is easy to run afoul of someone with the expectations that I have. I am used to sudden and jarring falls from grace on the part of many a follower. Turns out Nos was no different.
or you're just gonna lose?
I await a challenge.
Can we do a rain check on this? Can you just hold off on your conquering the world?
I think at this point you see a number of these portals begin to open up all around the room, like every face of the room, on the ceiling, in the walls, even the platform that the throne sits on. But they don't seem to stay open. It's as though they open for a moment, like a ripple across a pond, just spreading out, and then they dissipate once again. But the longer it goes on, the less of this room seems to remain. And the more of this corrupt land you seem to see around you. You could possibly make a break for it, but that's up to you.
I ask aloud if Caius is down into one of these portals.
He says, any of these roads will lead to me.
I say, call off all of these monsters and fight me one-on-one. And I'll jump in.
Oh, Lord. I look back at Maya. Here we go again.
I look at Togar with like that sad puppy dog eyes and jump in.
I look back at Lilith and over at Bungdo the bear, and I say, well, get in there, Bungdo. Lilith, you
What?
coming?
Hold on, guys. To clarify, Trogdor was bargaining there. He hasn't actually jumped in yet.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
He said, fight me one-on-one, and I will jump in.
Oh. I misunderstood that.
Yeah, I was
Everyone
like,
thought-
Why did Becca just jump in there? What is she doing?
Yeah, I thought he jumped in. Okay,
Yeah, right.
we're all good now. Yeah.
And I think the voice just, again, sort of laughs to itself. And says, I accept your challenge. And at that point, a portal opens up beneath Trogdor's feet. And he falls through.
Does it immediately close?
It's going to close pretty quickly.
I'll jump in after him.
Same. I'm going in.
Okay. So I'd like everybody who's trying to jump in the same portal as Trogdor to make a You know what? Actually, let me clear initiative, and I'll have you guys roll initiative to see if you can respond quickly enough.
Ugh,
Go ahead.
someone's gonna get
Anyone?
cut in half.
Like anyone that beats Trogdor gets in.
Well, I mean, Trotter didn't have to do anything. It literally opened under his feet.
Nope.
No.
Slow bears, slow.
Just to see what I would get.
Hey, we beat him.
Good thing he didn't have to do anything. Ooh. All right. So the party is now split. Trogdor falls through, and before the portal is able to completely close up, Lilith and Maya both run over and throw themselves down into the hole behind him. As the polar bear goes to dive in, you see Bungdo the bear just bash his snout against the stonework floor as he and Togar are left behind.
What about Norganoth?
I was going to say, I need to roll for him as well.
Please leave him with us. We will just run off and start our own. Ah, goddammit.
Okay. So yeah, Norganoth makes it through. Leaving Bungdo and Togar alone in this dark castle chamber.
I'll say, hey, before you fight them, can you let us go? Can we get out of here? Or at least can we come watch?
The voice says, as I said before, all roads will lead to me. Simply go through the portal at your feet. I'm confident you'll be able to find the proper place.
I look over at Bungdo the bear.
Sorry, hold up.
Just jump on him and have him jump in.
Is it it's not the same portal that opened.
No, it's not the same one that opened. There was one that opened up directly under Trogdor's feet, and he just fell through, followed by, the other three who went with him. That one sealed up, though, as Bungdo and Togar tried to jump through. But the other two portals that were open during the fight, as well
Sorry,
as...
what did I miss in the past, 2 minutes?
What was the last thing you heard?
I honestly don't remember. I got super distracted.
Portal was open, party is split, it's you and me.
Yeah.
Everybody else is gone. So
Well, do we have any star fruit?
we do have a portal in
I-
front of us.
I took
We
the
should
star
go
through.
Okay. I looked back at you to see what your reaction is and okay, go ahead. Jump through.
I jumped through.
I'm going to step through.
I'm jumping through.
Okay. So, let's go with... Let's stay with Togar and Bungdo for a second. So, as the two of you go through this portal, and you feel this kind of strange free fall sensation in your stomachs for a moment. Eventually, you end up seemingly just emerging from the ground in what looks like the ruins of a similar castle to the one that you were just standing in, north of Drake's Landing. But peering around, this is nothing like the northern reaches of the continent of Acuria. You hear the wind howling, cutting at your face almost. You see these ominous black clouds swirling overhead. Amidst the sprawl of ruined stonework all around, you see piles upon piles of bones and decomposing bodies. And the only real shelter that you can see lies at the base of a number of blackened and dead trees that kind of litter the rocky outer reaches of your field of view. You hear a loud from behind you. And as you turn around, you see, probably not more than 100 feet away, is one of those creatures that you had seen back in Taldore. Doesn't seem to have noticed you. But it is apparently on the prowl for something.
Right. Togar?
Well,
Thoughts?
I'm going to actually let me roll this first and see. Okay, so you see me try to sneak after it, Bungdo.
I sneak after you.
Or hear me.
This is a good time to bring up the fact that Bungdo is still a bear.
Yes.
Would Bungdo like to still be a bear, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if I can stealth as the bear, though. So the dex on the bear... Wait, what's stealth? Dex? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is going to be my roll. Oh. Barely
Alright.
rolled more than minimum.
So yeah, the two of you begin to kind of attempt to sneak behind this towering demonic creature. It seems like almost every time you dart out from behind cover, though, somebody stumbles on a wayward bone or crunches on some long, dried-out twig.
One time for me, I stopped and Bungdo was watching the creature and didn't, so he ran into me and knocked me over.
Okay. And I think
Worth.
the creature stops, and you hear these loud, snorting, sniffing sounds, as it seems to be trying to catch the scent of something. And as it begins to turn around and face the two of you, we're going to switch over to the other part of the party.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
So I think, Trogdor, you being the first one through, you feel a similar falling sensation in the pit of your stomach to what I described the other two going through. Seems for a moment that you can't really tell which way is up. And after a few seconds of this, just kind of falling in some indeterminate direction in the void of whatever lies between your home world and wherever you're ending up, you, like the others, emerge headfirst from a stone floor. Not beautifully carved and worked stone like what was in the hall of the castle that you just left, but rough, natural stone that of a deep, dark cavern somewhere.
How dark is it?
Very dark.
I want to cast light on myself.
Okay. So as you do that, kind of instinctively, your white light floods the room, or at least as far as it can. And at about that time, the ones who had run through after you, that being Maya, Lilith, and Norganoth, all emerge, seemingly falling up out of the floor and standing beside you. You just hear the howling of some distant wind somewhere. And I think Trogdor and Lilith especially, you have the sensation that you are in the near presence of some kind of corruption beyond what you've witnessed in your travels thus far. So, as the four of you are standing here in the cavern by the light of Trogdor's spell, what are you doing?
How much can I see with this light?
Whatever the light spell says.
Well, I mean, like,
Are you talking like details rather than distance?
yeah.
Um,
I'll do that though, just in case.
you can't really see that much. There's, again, this natural stone floor, kind of uneven in places. The light itself kind of runs out before reaching any walls or notable features of the room. So you're just sort of standing in this, what was a pitch black cavern.
Do we see any other creature here?
Not at the moment.
Can I see any more than they do?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I can see 40 feet with my light. You can do 120 if you have Devil's Sight. Or no, you're a drow. You don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's got like 120, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at the far reaches of this cavern, Lilith can just barely make out some sort of dark protrusion from the floor and what look like piles of something kind of amassed around the base of it. But this is like right at the cusp of even Lilith's dark vision. So I suppose it's time to figure out what you're doing.
I asked Norganoth if he has any idea where we're at.
He kind of pauses, closes his eyes. He seems to be reaching out to his surroundings or something, trying to get a feel for, I don't know, the energy of the place. And he says, "This is unfamiliar to me. I've never been here."
There's something up ahead. Togar, go put your light on it.
What?
I mean Trogdor. Whatever, I still get your names mixed up.
Where is it?
Basically straight ahead from where you're all facing.
Alright. I want to recast my light onto my mace and use it like a torch,
Okay.
and then I'll walk up towards it.
I go with him.
All right.
Yeah, coming along. I like being able to see.
Okay. As you close the distance and the light eventually shines on whatever it is that Lilith saw, you can make out that it is a finely carved stone throne, at the feet of which sit a number of skulls, various bones, a few severed heads, shrunken and shriveled and dried up. But seated in the throne itself is another dried out husk of a humanoid creature, clothed in fine black robe and resting with its back all the way to the back of the throne, with what looks like some sort of a crown resting on its head. This crown seems to depict a number of snakes. One of them at the forefront being a cobra with 3 smaller serpents branching off on either side. And as you're taking this in, you hear the same disembodied voice echoing across the room, saying, "I thought you were to challenge me alone."
I didn't ask them to come. They just jumped in.
I just want to see the results.
There's a long pause before the voice says, "No matter. I will have my victory, no matter how many are here to see it." And at this point, the eyes of the body sitting on the throne begin to glow with that same dull blue that you had seen in the eyes of the black skull back in the castle. And the head with the crown still atop it begins to float up and even away from the body, which sort of just disintegrates as the head leaves the neck. The skull floats over the 4 of you, kind of circling around behind to a point about 50 feet away. You can just see the dull blue glow from just beyond the reach of the light. And it says, "Well, Paladin?"
I have my mace ready in my right hand and shield in the other, and I look back over at Norgonoth and the rest of the group and I walk off towards the glow.
What's everyone else doing?
I am watching.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on them.
Okay. I think Norganoth is visibly torn. And I think he'll actually reach out and put a hand on the back of Trogdor's shoulder, as though to turn him around and kind of look him in the eye.
I turn around and look at him. Say, what's wrong?
I can't let you go alone.
What if he calls for backup because of your interference?
You feel his grasp sort of tighten, which is strange because you are still wearing your heavy armor, but you can even feel the constriction of the grasp through that. And I think with a massively unhappy sigh of resignation, he takes his hand off of your shoulder and makes a familiar holy gesture towards you that you would have learned in your years coming up in the Church of Bahamut. Effectively just wishing you the Platinum Dragon's blessings upon whatever is to come. And with a nod, he backs up to join the other two.
Give them a little bow, and then turn back around and head off towards the glow of his eyes.
Okay. So, getting back to Togar and Bungdo.
Produce flame.
What?
Yeah. So, the massive creature that you've been trailing begins to sniff the air and turn around, facing in your direction, not seemingly staring at you, but looking toward you.
I stop moving.
Do I remember? Well, how strong were these guys? Togar Togar would know at least.
Yeah, these things, well, they mowed down lines upon lines of troops in the battle that you participated in back on Tal'Dorei. The encounter that your group got into with one of them was ended not by the strike of anybody's sword or axe, but by the detonation of some powerful fire-based spell that was launched from behind you.
Oh, right.
Alright. Probably not a produce flame.
9th level produce flame.
But yeah, no, this thing is a crowd killer, to be sure.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I'm gonna not make any sudden movements.
Bungdo just stands perfectly still.
Okay.
No, don't have anything that I have nothing of use really. Well, actually, how far away is it from us?
I mean, have you been trying to close on it or kind of keep the same distance that you
No, I've been
started at?
keeping the same distance, just
All right,
loosely
then that's
following it.
probably about 100 feet away.
I'm going to pull out the rock out of my belt, and I'm going to, like, so the distance it is from us, I'm going to turn 90 degrees to the left, or 45 from the creature thing, and I'm just going to throw it as far as I can.
Okay. Cool.
So I essentially want it to go in the almost the opposite direction of this.
All right. All right, go ahead and make a strength check. See how far you can throw this thing, how much of a, how distant a distraction it'll be. All right. So with the angle you threw it at, and the distance that you managed to get, you probably displace it by about 40 feet off to the left.
All right.
But yeah, it definitely kind of lumbers off after the stone that you throw. But with its aerial view, it probably, I mean, I shouldn't say aerial view. It's not like it's 50 feet tall. It's about 15 feet tall. It quickly determines that there's not anything there, and I think it begins to turn around. Is there anything that you wanted to do as it was kind of being distracted?
Run away.
Okay.
Basically, that's about it.
So you were just sneaking along behind it, and then when you thought it might have noticed you, just distract it and run away.
Basically.
Okay. Gotcha. Let's see here. Okay. Are you full on running, or are you still sneaking?
No, sneaking. I'm just trying to sneak in the opposite direction.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to sneak in the opposite direction too.
I essentially I'm advancing in a different direction from.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Go ahead and make some fresh stealth checks.
Yes, sir.
I'm stealthy burr.
Oh fuck me! I can't roll
Better
for
than
shit.
the old one.
Yeah.
The bear is stealthier than you are.
I mean, I do have padded feet. Good for
All right.
sneaking.
It seems like, at least for now, you've managed to avoid any scrutiny from the thing. And so you kind of begin creeping again, kind of dashing cover to cover away from the creature. And yeah, once you've gotten some distance, what are you guys doing? I mean, what do you do? What do you say? What's going through the characters' minds right now?
I look at Bungdo the bear and I go, "What the fuck? Why are you still a bear?"
Padded feet, good for sneaking.
He has a limited amount of uses. You can't just waste it.
Well, we need to go somewhere. Have you turned back yet, or are you still a bear?
I'm still a bear.
Alright, I'll just hop on your back, and say, all right, I'll just ride you till. So any direction is as good as any. Do you smell anything? Do you smell anybody? You smell
I
Trogdor?
mean, I
He
can't
kind of
talk.
stinks. Huh?
As a bear, I can't talk.
Well, I know, but you can still understand me.
Oh, that's fair.
So
I
I'm
just
just
kind of,
spitballing ideas.
I don't know. Do I smell anything?
I mean, there's this lingering odor of sulfur, um, kind of stench of rot and decay. Um, Nothing that seems to suggest any particular direction your friends might be in.
I guess just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I hopped up on you. I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue in the opposite direction. Like, what kind of stuff are we seeing?
Um, so as you continue on, a lot of the ruined stonework kind of begins to give way to um, dusty, rocky terrain. The direction that you struck off in kind of leads you into the what looks like the kind of crook of a mountain range. Um, and as you're strolling through this, well, not strolling, trekking through this dried out,
Bungdo is strolling.
okay, this is dried out, dusty region with the wind kicking up all the dirt and sediment into your faces, screaming kind of through your ears and just whistling through any little crack and crevice in like Togar's armor, for example. Um, yeah, you begin to walk through what looks like a burnt out forest. All of these trees blackened and brittle. And I think about this point, you see off in the distance between the trees a cluster of the um, kind of bloated looking undead creatures that you had caught a glimpse of through one of the portals back in the throne room.
So we want to avoid those.
Preferably.
Yeah, I charge them all.
Okay. Well.
That was a joke. I'm not charging them.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Let's switch back to Trogdor and company back in this this dark cavern in which you find yourselves. So Trogdor,
Hmm.
you stroll forward to meet the hovering crowned skull. And as you stride about 10 feet forward away from your friends, the light begins to reveal the thing once again. You can see it just hovering there, about eye level with you. Little thin bits of white wispy hair kind of floating as though it's submerged underwater, and everything is sort of no longer subject to the normal laws of physics. And as you approach, the voice speaks out again and says, "Very good. I had my doubts. Thought perhaps you would try an angle for some unfair advantage. Perhaps go back on your word. But you have been true, and I respect that. And I respect your power. As such, I only want even more to claim it for myself. At this point, the skull flashes, this pulse of blue light kind of washing over even the distant reaches of the chamber. And I think it is time to roll some initiative.
Oh boy.
But in the meantime, oh boy. All right. Let's take like a quick 5-minute break. I got to hit the bathroom, and I'm going to pull up a little cavern battle map here. Believe it or not, I didn't expect Trogdor to go all, hey, 1v1 me, scrub. So...
Oh, jeez.
I don't know why you didn't expect that.
That's a fair point.
Also, I just put a picture of what I thought Caius was.
Current scouting dog.
Yes. That's, as you're describing it, that's all I could think of.
It's
Was
my
that-
tablet.
That guy scared the absolute shit out of me as a kid. So.
All right. Back in a few.